Each year in March, for nearly 30 years, the life sciences community of Pennsylvania gathers for an evening of recognizing scientific and business successes of the prior year and to honor the lifetime achievement of some of our and the world's greatest scientists and business people. In March of 2020, however, the coronavirus pandemic forced most of us to remain distanced from our friends, our work colleagues, and in many cases, our families. The uncertainty caused by the pandemic continues, despite progress in the fight against it and early stages of our economy reopening. More recently, civil unrest, sparked by deep-seated racial inequality, has shaken us awake and caused all of us, regardless of race, background, experience, or socioeconomic position, to reflect on history and the challenges that face society. In both cases, the COVID-19 pandemic and our country's current civil unrest, I'm prouder than ever of the way the life science community has responded to the call. The program you're about to see attempts to retain many of the elements of our annual celebration of Pennsylvania's scientific and business prowess. But rather than focus the entire program on 2019, we've asked several of our most prominent award winners to help narrate the story of how the life sciences community of Pennsylvania has stepped up during the first half of 2020 to address the coronavirus pandemic and the inequality of opportunity that grips much of our nation, our Commonwealth, and our local communities. You'll hear stories of individuals and companies who we consider heroes of COVID-19, passionate and compassionate people who have quickly and effectively responded to the pandemic with vaccines, therapeutics, medical devices, diagnostics, and repurposed manufacturing facilities. There are thousands of scientists and business leaders who we consider heroes of COVID-19 to thank, but there isn't enough airtime to appropriately acknowledge all of them and express our incalculable gratitude. So we focused on a small handful of companies and scientists who perhaps you haven't heard of. Hopefully, after seeing this program, you'll be more informed and more inspired by the men and women we at Life Sciences Pennsylvania have the privilege to serve and represent every day. But this program is not only about COVID-19. While the news headlines, elected officials, and much of the public have been nearly consumed by coronavirus news, there remain thousands of diseases affecting millions of patients around the world who are counting on the work of our researchers to deliver solutions. This program is also for those researchers and for the ultimate beneficiaries of their work, the patients. Finally, we'll share some thoughts from the Board of Directors at Life Sciences Pennsylvania about how we, as a collection of people whose very DNA drives us to solve problems, can make a difference in the struggle against that deep-seated racial inequality of opportunity. On behalf of a very grateful team at Life Sciences Pennsylvania, thank you to the generous sponsors who helped make this program possible. Thank you to the Life Sciences Pennsylvania Board of Directors for their leadership, guidance, and unwavering support. And thank you to all who continue to make Pennsylvania the center of the greatest collection of life sciences companies and people.
When I assumed the chairmanship of Life Sciences Pennsylvania in January, the coronavirus was an interesting topic of conversation for some of us, but was considered a phenomenon that was thousands of miles from Pennsylvania. At the time, the association had an aggressive but eminently achievable business plan for 2020, eagerly coming off a successful 2019 of programs, facilitating connections through its networking events and group purchasing program, and looking forward to executing its most ambitious and meaningful public policy advocacy agenda in a decade. 35 in-person programs were planned for 2020, and the advocacy agenda launched in January with great energy and enthusiasm, even as the pharma industry faced strong political headwinds on issues related to drug pricing and patient access to medicines. Educating lawmakers about the challenges and long odds associated with drug development was paramount. Well, that all changed as we moved through February into March, when the first cases of coronavirus were identified in Pennsylvania, and Governor Wolf began a series of announcements related to business closures and shelter in place. The association's entire advocacy agenda changed almost overnight. Efforts were turned to educating policymakers to the importance of expanding the definition of essential businesses and life-sustaining businesses. It was critical to help them also understand the supply chain dynamics and the importance of upstream suppliers to the companies who were pursuing vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutics. Advocacy work in Harrisburg and Washington, D.C. was forced to shift once more as governmental agencies at multiple levels began the rollout of various relief packages. Life Sciences Pennsylvania was there again to ensure as much business continuity and relief was made possible to our member companies. Throughout, the team at Life Sciences Pennsylvania maintained a focused, deliberative approach to informing its membership, while also taking brave steps such as suspending membership dues for 5 months out of respect for the challenges being faced by many members. The program agenda for 2020 was also almost entirely revamped and replaced with a calendar of virtual events that maintain the high caliber of content and the most interactive opportunities for networking available in our new virtual world. These are incredibly dynamic times, but Life Sciences PA did not miss a beat. The association and its members are using their voices and resources to address injustice and inequality, to overcome the disparities in healthcare, and to bring forth the diagnostics, vaccines, and treatments necessary to beat this pandemic and overcome life sciences challenges for years to come. I thank Chris and the team at Life Sciences PA for their amazing leadership, support, and thoughtful, considerate approach. And I thank the membership of Life Sciences PA for your continued support.
Pepper Hamilton is pleased and proud to serve as a sponsor of the annual awards program in this year, Life Sciences PA's 31st year. The association finished 2019 with more than 840 member organizations, academic research organizations, biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies, medical device and diagnostics manufacturers, digital health innovators, investment organizations, patient advocacy groups, and the entire service community that supports this vibrant community. Ordinarily, Pepper Hamilton has the opportunity to be represented on stage at the annual dinner before a gathering each year of more than 1,000 guests. This year, we were delighted to support this new format, this program, because of the opportunity through video to help tell even a small part of the wonders of the Pennsylvania Life Sciences family. The leaders you will hear from come from varied backgrounds and different areas of expertise. Each brings a unique gift to the mission they all share, ensuring the roots of innovation compare the fruit of medical breakthroughs that will solve unmet patient need around the world. We hope you find this program compelling, inspirational, and memorable.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors: AdvaMed, the MedTech Conference; Alchemy Corporation; Allmac Group; Biotechnology Innovation Organization, BIO; BioAgilytic Labs; Darcy Consulting; Ernst & Young; JLL; Morgan, Lewis & Bacchius; Navigate; PHL Life Sciences; Pharma; Troutman Pepper; and Tennell Consulting.
At its core, Life Sciences Pennsylvania is an advocacy organization working on behalf of its member companies, shaping a public policy agenda that makes Pennsylvania the most attractive place in the United States to open and operate a life sciences company. In 2019, the Pennsylvania legislature experienced its largest turnover of elected officials in its history. More than 50 new leaders assumed their roles in the Pennsylvania House and Senate, many of whom had little or no life sciences company presence in their districts, and with an understanding of the industry heavily influenced by what they hear in the media or from their local constituents. It was essential that the life sciences community join together to educate legislators and other policymakers on the innovation that was happening across the state and to educate them about the critical role life sciences companies play in researching and manufacturing medicines that help lives and help patients living with chronic conditions have a better quality of life. As chairman of the Life Sciences Pennsylvania Advocacy Committee, I strongly supported the association's top 3 strategic advocacy priorities for 2019: lawmaker education on the value of pharmaceuticals, the development of legislative allies in both houses on both sides of the political aisle of the General Assembly, and an unprecedented buildup of partnerships with patient advocacy groups. Fortunately, our industry already had many friends in Harrisburg, and we at Sanofi Pasteur are proud to recognize two of those friends, two true leaders, with the 2019 State Official of the Year Award. Two of the co-chairs of the Life Sciences Caucus in Pennsylvania House of Representatives, Representative Tim Briggs of Montgomery County and Representative Mark Longetti of Mercer County.
I'm honored to stand with my colleague and friend, State Representative Tim Briggs, and receive this 2019 State Government Official of the Year Award from Life Sciences Pennsylvania. We're so proud of the entrepreneurs and the innovators in the industry who work every day on life-saving cures and processes to improve people's lives. And it means so much not only to the citizens of Pennsylvania, but really across the world.
It really is an honor for Mark and I to serve as the co-chairs of the Life Science Caucus in the legislature to advocate on behalf of the whole industry throughout Pennsylvania that make such great impacts to our economic well-being, as well as the investments they make into our citizens' lives.
I've had a chance personally to visit some of these companies and see the life-changing drugs and therapies and processes that they are innovating and creating.
And to advocate up in Harrisburg on your behalf, it really is important for the growth of Pennsylvania as we move forward from this COVID-19 situation. Our goal is to make Pennsylvania the top life science state. We have a lot of work to do, but I know we will be able to make great strides into achieving that goal.
We will be your champions here in Harrisburg, and we're so proud to stand with you.
As the life sciences community faced several challenges in Washington, D.C. in 2019, it was crucial to have the support of many members of the Pennsylvania congressional delegation. Chief among them was U.S. Senator Pat Toomey. Senator Toomey has a unique and thorough understanding of the Commonwealth's life sciences ecosystem and understands the high costs and long odds it takes to bring a new medicine or technology to patients. From being a steadfast leader on permanently repealing the medical device tax, to protecting Medicare Parts B and D from sweeping policies that undermine access to novel medicines, and working to better coordinate and fund Alzheimer's research, Senator Toomey has been a champion in ensuring the federal government continues to incentivize innovation in the life sciences. Merck is once again proud to support Life Sciences PA's Federal Official of the Year, Senator Pat Toomey.
It's a real honor for me to have been chosen as this year's Federal Official of the Year. A big thank you to Terry Lee Taylor, the chair of Life Sciences PA Board of Directors, for this award. Merck and all the other great PA biomedical companies employing tens of thousands of Pennsylvanians. Congratulations to all the honorees. In particular, my good friend Carol Neubauer, Chairman and CEO of B. Braun Medical in Bethlehem, who's taken on a new role with the company. And Pennsylvania life sciences industry it's just a beacon of success, not only in the United States, but around the world. We're recognized as a leader in developing new medicines and technologies for patients, from innovative heart pumps that keep patients alive while they're waiting transplants, to products like pacemakers and orthodontics, hearing implements, surgical tools, knee braces, joint replacements. The list goes on and on. And Pennsylvania's medical device industries have really significantly improved and in many cases saved the lives of the people that you serve. And that's why in the Senate I've made it a priority to get government out of the way and encourage investment in innovation at all stages, especially the early stage and startup level. I know Life Sciences PA has seen significant growth in the early innovator community. I also understand that over half of the nearly 3,000 life science entities in Pennsylvania are made up of companies with just 10 or fewer employees. The best thing we can do for growth and for patients is to encourage investment in these fledgling firms. We need to enact the policies that eliminate roadblocks, that allow even greater innovation. Thankfully, we've had some recent success in this effort. After nearly a decade-long fight, we finally repealed the medical device tax. And this certainly will lead to medical device and diagnostic companies having more resources to put towards hiring more staff, developing new technologies. My role as your U.S. Senators to make sure the policies we discuss and pursue in Washington don't disrupt your innovative pipeline. The process by which novel medicines and technologies are developed is long, and it's resource intensive, and it's financially risky. We need to continue to do everything we can to encourage those successes, especially for those patients facing Alzheimer's disease, cancer, ALS, and many other diseases that we still don't have cures for, in some cases don't even have treatments. Well, I look forward to continuing that fight in Washington, and I thank you once again for this award.
Hi, I'm John Grady, Senior Vice President and Northeast Executive for Wexford Science and Technology. As a national developer focused on creating and enabling life sciences innovation districts across the country, we value the role of organizations like Life Sciences PA to help connect the various participants in our sector, and it has been Wexford's pleasure to be a longtime LSPA member and sponsor of this annual gathering. Wexford is celebrating our 15th anniversary this year, and we're proud that throughout our history, Pennsylvania has been a keystone in our company's portfolio of 15 knowledge communities across the country. It has been our privilege to work with so many of you to help elevate Pennsylvania's position as a hub of life sciences nationally. Our company's first and largest project is in Philadelphia, our U-City Square partnership with the Science Center, Penn, Drexel, Children's Hospital, and more than 150 tenants and partners. Today, U-City Square is the heart of Philadelphia's dynamic life sciences ecosystem, and still growing, with more than 1.2 million square feet currently under construction for more labs, offices, classrooms, and apartments. A few years after starting U-City Square, we expanded into Hershey, partnering with Penn State School of Medicine. And currently, we are well into construction in Pittsburgh as we partner with the University of Pittsburgh to develop a new 350,000 square foot home for its renowned research and commercialization teams in cancer, immunology, and transplant services, along with new labs for private partners. The power of our knowledge communities lies in their ability to bring together university research, entrepreneurial activity, corporate development, and community inclusion. So it's only fitting that we would be the sponsors of the 2019 Deal of the Year Award. It is also gratifying to see several of our tenants on the program as featured award nominees this year, including in this category. Like many things in our lives these days, this program is quite a bit different than past years, but that should not take away from the quality of this year's nominees and the importance of recognizing their contributions to our industry and our Commonwealth. The Life Sciences PA Deal of the Year Award recognizes an organization which has promoted the growth of Pennsylvania's life sciences industry by way of a substantial deal or strategic partnership. The organization receiving the award will have closed a deal or strategic partnership in 2019 that resulted in the continued growth and advancement of Pennsylvania's life sciences industry. The deal can have occurred at any stage of product development or level of the company's maturity. The nominees for this year's Pennsylvania Deal of the Year are Galera Therapeutics' $65 million IPO. Galera Therapeutics is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company focused on developing therapeutics that have the potential to transform radiotherapy in cancer and mitigate the harmful effects of radiation therapy. In November 2019, Galera announced the completion of their initial public offering, which yielded $65 million in gross proceeds. Second, Roche's acquisition of Spark Therapeutics. Spark is a fully integrated commercial company committed to discovering, developing, and delivering gene therapies for genetic diseases, including blindness, hemophilia, lysosomal storage disorders, and neurodegenerative diseases. Roche is a global pioneer in pharmaceuticals and diagnostics, focused on advancing science to improve people's lives. In December 2019, Roche completed its $4.3 billion acquisition of Spark Therapeutics and announced that Spark will continue to operate as an independent company within the Roche Group and be based in Philadelphia. And third, Venatoric's partnership with HHS and DoD. Venatorix Pharmaceuticals is focused on the discovery and development of novel anti-infectives to treat multi-drug resistant bacterial infections and hard-to-treat viral infections. In July 2019, Venatorix announced its $100 million partnership with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response and the U.S. Department of Defense's Defense Threat Reduction Agency to develop a novel antibiotic to treat infections caused by bacteria resistant to currently available agents. Each of these deals was an outstanding contributor to growing the life sciences ecosystem in Pennsylvania last year, improving the human condition and providing economic impact and a broad range of job opportunities across the Commonwealth. On behalf of all my colleagues at Wexford, congratulations to each of the nominees for their achievements and their nominations for this award. And it is my pleasure to announce that the winner of the 2019 Life Sciences PA Deal of the Year is Roche's acquisition of Spark Therapeutics. Congratulations.
Clarkston Consulting is pleased to take part in this tribute to Pennsylvania's thriving life sciences community and to honor them for all the amazing work they do to bring a better life and life itself to the world. For 30 years, Clarkston Consulting has been working with life sciences firms in Pennsylvania and across the globe to bring therapies and cures to market, successfully navigate the regulatory landscape, and to enhance the patient experience. Now more than ever, one of the greatest challenges this industry is facing is the war for talent. There's a significant gap between the needs of life sciences companies and the available science students that are currently studying. Clarkston Scholars was created with this talent need in mind. We want to support a deserving student enrolled in a university program in the state of Pennsylvania with the intention of a career in life sciences. The scholarship includes mentoring and inclusion in Clarkston Consulting activities, availability and inclusion in Life Sciences Pennsylvania activities, and a $10,000 scholarship. We had so many great applications that choosing a winner was extremely difficult, but this year's winner is very distinguished. Allow me to introduce Kevin Dang. He is currently a sophomore at the University of Pennsylvania, studying in the Roy and Diana Vagelos program in Life Sciences and Management. As a dual degree student, Kevin intends to major in computational biology and finance. Kevin has experience working in a biotech startup as a laboratory and supply chain management intern. He also had the opportunity to work as a business intern in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in the nation's capital last summer. After graduating, Kevin plans to continue working in the biopharmaceutical industry. Congratulations to the 2020 Clarkston Scholar, Kevin Dang.
Thank you to Clarkston Consulting and LSPA for this opportunity.
Pennsylvanians share many important attributes which have made our Commonwealth a world leader in many areas over history. Grit, determination, entrepreneurial spirit, and a love for humanity that date back to the founding of our great country. For more than 80 years, Independence Blue Cross has been providing access to healthcare services for millions of Pennsylvanians with a focus on the well-being of patients, their caregivers, and the community. We also have been proud sponsors for each of the last 9 years of the Life Sciences Pennsylvania Patient Impact Award. LSPA's Patient Impact Award recognizes a medicine, a therapy, a device, or a company or organization that made a significant contribution to the quality of healthcare or length of life of patients in 2019. While there were dozens of nominations for this award, Independence Blue Cross is pleased to introduce you to the 3 honorees selected by our independent committee of academic researchers.
Over the past 18 years, Achillion's research team's focus has been to develop innovative oral therapies to address significant unmet medical needs in multiple conditions. In recent years, the company's highly talented and experienced scientists discovered and engineered an innovative, potential first-in-class oral platform of compounds called Factor D, which target the human complement system and the ultra-rare diseases that are caused by dysregulation to this system. Danicopan, the first potential treatment, is entering Phase 3 global development to address a significant unmet medical need for people living with the ultra-rare disease paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, or PNH, who experience extravascular hemolysis. PNH is a chronic, progressive, debilitating, and life-threatening blood disorder characterized by the destruction of red blood cells. Danicopan is also in Phase 2 development for C3G, a rare chronic kidney disease. In 2019, the FDA has granted Breakthrough Therapy designation, and the European Medicines Agency granted Priority Medicines designation, reflecting the promise of this potential therapy. In 2020, Achillion was acquired by Alexion Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, a global leader in complement biology and inhibition for more than 20 years. We believe oral Factor D inhibition holds great promise in treating people with multiple rare, complement-mediated diseases, providing the opportunity to help many more patients. We look forward to the expertise that Achillion team brings to Alexion, which, combined with our own complement biology and rare disease development and commercialization experience, will enable us to collectively accelerate progress of the development programs. Thank you to Life Sciences PA for this recognition and to the entire Achillion team for your dedication and extraordinary commitment to bringing this innovation to the patients that need it most.
At Harmony, we keep patients at the heart of everything we do. And it's important for us to listen to leaders in the advocacy community, to people living with narcolepsy, to understand what their lives are like, to understand how we can be a part of it, and to understand how we can support and help patients.
Narcolepsy doesn't rule my life, but it is part of my life.
I'm a person first and foremost, and then I have a condition.
It's something that you live with, but it's not something that necessarily has to define you.
No Narcolepsy is a great digital resource for people with narcolepsy who are at home. They want information, they want resources, they want content. And when you come up with a good website like No Narcolepsy, it's definitely a resource that we recommend people tap into.
One of the things that was brought to our attention by launching Patients at the Heart is there are a lot of creative ideas and unmet needs in the narcolepsy community. And Patients at the Heart allowed us to fund innovative grants that went above and beyond the programs that we regularly support with the advocacy community.
This is also about the heart and creating resources that are raising awareness, but also making people feel more connected. I'm so excited about the future for narcolepsy treatments, and Harmony is a big part of that.
Thank you, Harmony Biosciences, for fighting for us to have a future to look forward to and for letting us know that we're not in this fight alone.
The single most important factor to promote lung cancer survival is early detection. At Fox Chase, we are pioneering new methods to detect lung cancer sooner than ever before. In 2018, Fox Chase became one of only 3 medical centers nationwide to launch an innovative technology in lung cancer early detection.
Here at Fox Chase, we're one of the first centers in the nation to have the Monarch robotic bronchoscopy platform. This allows us to get out into the periphery of the lung with increased dexterity, increased visualization to get a more targeted biopsy specimen. What it means to me is the next evolution in how we approach these lung nodules.
Dr. Christopher Manley is widely recognized as the leading authority on robotic bronchoscopy and remains the most experienced physician in the country. And along with his partner, Rohit Kumar, has done over 250 procedures. He has thoroughly trained his team on these procedures, which has led to great success in the early diagnosis and detection of lung cancer.
You're taking a very small, very sophisticated robotic arm, and you're navigating through the airways with direct visualization. The first part of how the system works starts with a very simple CAT scan. We can take those images and we can sync them to the robotic platform. So now we've got a roadmap. Now we've got basically a turn-by-turn GPS for the lung.
Unlike blind biopsies of the past, lung biopsies are now performed under direct visualization with more control and consistency.
We're able to make these cases shorter and make them faster, less anesthesia time for the patient, less recovery time. We find the nodule, we biopsy it, we look at all of the lymph nodes throughout both lungs so the person has a diagnosis and a stage for their cancer, and then they can meet quickly thereafter to decide what to do next.
Dr. Christopher Manley has harnessed this technology to offer more reliable techniques to diagnose lung cancer at early stages, providing better outcomes now and hope for the future.
And now we'd like to take a moment to thank our contributing sponsors. Eros Medical, Amerisource Bergen, Amicus Therapeutics, Aero Biotherapeutics, Castle Creek Biosciences, ClinLogix, CSL Behring, Fuji Rabio Diagnostics, Huntington Krause Financial Group of Wells Fargo Advisors, Idera Pharmaceuticals, Pfizer, RSM, Spark Therapeutics, and the O'Connor Group.
When I was told I'd been selected by the Life Sciences Pennsylvania staff for their annual President's Service Award, I was flattered and honored, but truly felt I had simply been doing my job as a member of the association in a community of people who offer their time and their expertise to support LSPA's mission. Volunteerism and engagement in LSPA initiatives are the hallmarks of an effective and successful trade association. Member company leaders have an additional resource in LSPA to maximize the effectiveness of their companies and to help shape the business and policy environment in which we all operate. Support and participation by life science executives is crucial to making this a reality, while also allowing LSPA's leadership to maintain a lean organization that carries the influence of its 840 member community into the legislative halls in Harrisburg and in Washington, D.C. My job in this program is to introduce you to one of the heroes of COVID-19, one of the lesser-known companies engaged in bringing a critical innovation to the battle against the coronavirus. LungPacer Medical in Exton, led by CEO Doug Evans, offers its diaphragmatic pacing therapy system for COVID-19 patients. The DPT system involves intravenously inserted electrodes that are designed to rhythmically activate the diaphragm. In critically ill patients who have failed or would typically fail to wean and become ventilator dependent, the pacing therapy is expected to prevent or even reverse diaphragm muscle disuse atrophy and maintain diaphragmatic endurance. thus facilitating weaning patients from ventilator use and its potential long-term damage. LungPacer's DPT system has received emergency use authorization from the FDA for use in COVID-19 patients.
Success in the biosciences requires an entrepreneurial spirit and determination, for sure. It also requires deep scientific knowledge and an ability to coalesce difficult and sometimes competing interests. Perhaps more important, it requires leadership and a willingness to accept failure along the way in order to bring truly transformative science to address unmet medical needs. Simply put, if you're not comfortable with change or the inevitable failures along the way, biosciences is probably not for you. Frank Baldino understood this. Frank was a pharmacologist and a scientist who co-founded Cephalon, one of Pennsylvania's great biotech success stories. He was a local legend and a true local. Frank attended Pennsbury High School East, Temple University, and Muhlenberg College. He became an anchor of Pennsylvania's life sciences community. Temple University is proud to honor one of our own by supporting the CEO of the Year award in Frank's name for his scientific and business success and for his unwavering dedication to patients, as well as his commitment to Southeastern Pennsylvania's arts, culture, and philanthropy communities, a mission continued by his family and friends today. The Frank Baldino Life Sciences CEO of the Year award recognizes a CEO who has demonstrated visionary leadership and active participation to advance the industry in 2019. Our honoree this year has a proven record of exceptional achievement as well as a commitment to the life sciences for the benefit of patients, while leading a small company with fewer than 250 employees. The 2019 winner of the Baldino CEO of the Year award is Dr. Usman Oz Azam.
Team Unity is proud to be one of the Philadelphia region's T-cell therapy companies that has contributed to Philadelphia earning the nickname Silicon Valley. Team Unity Therapeutics is a clinical stage therapeutics company focused on the next generation of T-cell therapies to cure cancer. More than 70 great employees who are driven by a mission to change the world and the practice of medicine. In April 2019, we continued our progress as we renovated and opened our East Norriton cell and gene manufacturing facility in 50,000 square feet of advanced manufacturing space, while also filing 2 INDs and receiving 2 safe to proceed notifications. As the world's attention turned to the coronavirus, our scientific pursuits continue, but we too turned our attention to the pursuit of a vaccine by our life sciences colleagues. One of the lesser-known heroes of COVID-19 in Philadelphia is a company named Integral Molecular, a research-driven biotech company creating innovative technologies with a pipeline of therapeutic antibodies for underexploited membrane protein targets. In early March this year, Integral Molecular announced the mobilization of 2 of its key technology platforms to aid in the discovery of vaccines against the coronavirus. This is not a new area for Integral Molecular. They have similarly responded to previous emerging epidemics, including Zika, Ebola, and chikungunya viruses, supporting vaccine and therapeutic discovery efforts throughout industry and academia. This ability to adapt and shift focus to current needs is the hallmark of a successful innovator, and are skills that our honoree has truly mastered.
Almost half the world's population is in lockdown. The volume of confirmed cases has risen at a dramatic rate, and so has the number of fatalities. Novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, has spread across the globe with devastating effect. Thermo Fisher Scientific's scale and depth of capabilities have never been more vital, and our mission, to enable our customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer, has never been more important. But let's take a look back. The first case of COVID-19 was reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. And we were there. On January 6th, our Thermo Scientific Techni Spirit transmission electron microscope was used to characterize the pathogen. Over 1,200 boxes of our reagents and assays were then fast-tracked so researchers could rapidly develop tests. Meanwhile, scientists in Australia used our Applied Biosystems Seq Studio instrument to sequence the virus's genome and provide the roadmap for a diagnostic test. On January 30th,
the World Health Organization declared a global emergency. And we were there. Our thermoscientific Cryos electron microscope was used by a team of researchers from the US to show the first three-dimensional structure of the coronavirus spike protein, key to understanding how to target the virus. By February 19th, 14,000 new cases were reported in Hubei province, and we were there. In March, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 to be a pandemic. Our real-time PCR test, which diagnoses the virus in 4 hours, was authorized by the US FDA for emergency use. It then received the CE mark in Europe, and now nearly 50 countries are authorized to use our test, which is based on our gold standard technology. As the virus spreads globally, we are producing more than 5 million of our COVID-19 diagnostic tests per week. At Thermo Fisher Scientific, we remain at the forefront of the fight against coronavirus. We're providing personal protective equipment to keep healthcare workers safe. We're modifying our production lines to make components for ventilators and produce hand sanitizer. We're partnering with pharma and biotech customers who are working on many of the top projects to develop COVID-19 treatments and vaccines. And that's just the start. There's a long way to go. But as one team, committed to our mission, we will prevail. We have much to be proud of.
In about 1990, I started assembling all the necessary tools and know-how to carry out retinal gene therapy with my husband and collaborator, Albert McGuire. A decade later, when we tested transfer of the normal copy of the RP65 gene to puppies born blind due to mutations in that gene, we found, lo and behold, that these puppies began to see. In 2007, we recruited the first patients. After one injection, the subjects began to see. We then started a phase 3 trial sponsored by Spark Therapeutics. The results were stunning, and the drug, now known as Luxturna, was approved by the US FDA in 2017 and by the EMA in 2018. This drug has already changed medical practice and has created a path for genetic treatments of other devastating blinding diseases.
Events in the past several months have highlighted the life-saving responsibility of the life sciences community more broadly. Discussions about vaccines, ventilators, therapeutics, and diagnostics fill the news nearly every day. One of the characteristics of our industry that remains a mystery, yet perhaps our greatest asset, is the creative spirit and energy of our scientists and engineers. Imagine this: one of the creative engineers at Archimedic, a small medtech company in Newtown Square, PA, repurposed a vacuum bag, rubber bands, and zip ties to make a respirator, affectionately known as the origami face mask. The vacuum cleaning bag material provides sub-micron filtration, which is below the size required to trap coronavirus. Just one example of the amazing creativity found in Pennsylvania. And no one exemplifies innovation in medical engineering quite the way John Nash does. John has been one of the medtech industry's leading engineers and entrepreneurs, co-founding Kenzie Nash, the legacy company acquired in 2012 by DSM, and inspiring many industry scientists and executives. His vision for the industry and for the region, as well as his spirit and will to succeed, remain among his great gifts to healthcare and to the world.
With medical technology, innovation is possible when an astute observer always assumes that the status quo is unlikely to be optimum, and that a small change can make a big difference, or that an additional feature might make the difference between acceptable and dramatic, or there is a critical need for an additional function, and/or there is a need for a completely new approach to achieving the same end result, and/or even the marriage of two or more devices into one device. And innovation becomes necessary when crisis hits and engineers and experts feel the pull of obligation to help address unmet needs and shortages. This is precisely the call answered by Maureen Mulvihill and the team at Actuated Medical in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. Actuated Medical was founded by Maureen in 2006 with the mission to design and develop medical devices and components. They use actuation technologies to address a wide variety of medical challenges ranging from clearing occlusions to easing tissue penetration to enabling MRI-assisted procedures. But in March of 2020, Maureen and her team learned, as many of us did, about the dangerous shortage of PPE that rapidly emerged in hospital and other healthcare settings. Within a matter of days, Actuated Medical repurposed its manufacturing facility in Center County to begin producing face shields to support an effort by Life Sciences Pennsylvania and the Hospital Association of Pennsylvania to redirect these crucial supplies to healthcare providers and first responders. For this, we consider the Actuated Medical team to be heroes of COVID-19. Another MedTech hero with whom I am delighted to now be acquainted through the John Nash MedTech Leadership Award is Carol Neubauer, former chairman and CEO of B. Braun Medical. Mr. Neubauer is one of the MedTech community's staunchest advocates for public policy that maintains the United States' global leadership in medical devices and diagnostics. Carol assumed a leadership role beginning in 2010 for the permanent repeal of the job and research killing medical device tax of the Affordable Care Act, which, as mentioned previously, was repealed in 2019. He retired recently after serving B. Braun for more than 30 years. During his tenure, he demonstrated an unwavering commitment to growing Pennsylvania's MedTech community and keeping it in Pennsylvania. Under Mr. Neubauer's leadership, B. Braun's catalog of products became broad, diverse, and globally accessible to physicians, surgeons, and patients. Carol is frequently recognized for his community service as well, celebrated by area friends, family, and business and community leaders for his significant achievements and services to the Lehigh Valley.
B. Braun is, among other things, a leader in infusion therapy and pain management, and with its Escalup brands, world market leader in handheld surgical instruments and sterilization containers, and more. We develop, manufacture, and market innovative medical products and services to the entire healthcare industry. I've had the privilege of leading B. Braun's U.S. organization and serving on its global management board for over 29 years. It's an amazing family-owned and family-led company filled with dedicated and passionate people. A corporate family of its own, working every day to improve healthcare and to ensure the safety of patients, clinicians, and the environment. An amazing company that will always be a major part of my life and its people in my heart. But I also recognize B. Braun is just one important player in a broader global tech mosaic. I say mosaic because as a medtech community, we truly are a complex collection of scientists, engineers, experts, business people, and other leaders that together create a beautiful picture of what is great about our industry and our country, and that is leadership in medical technology. The life sciences community once in a while gets a bad rap because of the bad actions of a very small handful of players. Public policymakers do not always understand the complexity of what is required for what we do, and unfortunately sometimes easily enact dangerous legislation like the medical device tax that kill jobs, stifle innovation, and jeopardize Americans' global leadership in medical technology. Fortunately, after several years, we did take care of that one. But when the world calls upon us to step up and address crises like the coronavirus pandemic, we don't say, "I told you so." No, Our community proactively attacks the challenge and works vigorously on solutions. And our industry did it this time again, in an amazing way of stepping up and coming together to serve our patients and their healthcare providers to face the healthcare challenges of this pandemic. Our next hero of COVID-19 is one such company, a neighbor of B. Braun in the Lehigh Valley, and it is OraSure Technologies. OraSure is famously known for their product that tests for the presence of antibodies to HIV in oral fluids. In April of 2020, OraSure announced it is addressing an important challenge associated with COVID-19 testing. There is an urgent interest in at-home diagnostic tests that make it easier for consumers and employers to determine an individual's coronavirus status. But there are many questions about their sensitivity, dependability, and overall clinical utility. OraSure is the only company to have ever received FDA clearance for a diagnostic test that can be used at home and is progressing on its at-home COVID-19 test and hopes to receive FDA emergency use authorization soon for this extremely important product. The tests they are developing will quickly and painlessly test for active infection by detecting viral antigens. OraSure is also developing a lab-based test that will use OraSure's oral fluid sample collection technology to test for antibodies. I am proud to be recognized with the award named for the great John Nash. I am more than proud of our so innovative MedTech family for consistently addressing and solving existing as well as unmet medical needs. Thank you very much.
Life Sciences Pennsylvania's longest-standing award for lifetime achievement is named for one of biotechnology's greatest leaders, the founder of one of the most successful biotech companies, a man whose name is synonymous with optimism, resilience, and we will succeed. Dr. Hubert J.P. Schumacher was one of life science industry's leading scientists and entrepreneurs, founding Centocor, now Janssen Biotech Inc., and later Garnet Biotherapeutics, formerly Neuronix Inc. He was widely noted as an inspiration and mentor to many industry CEOs, scientists, and executives. His vision for the industry and region, as well as his spirit and will to succeed, remain among his greatest legacies. The 2020 recipient of the Schumacher Award is a man who worked directly with Hubert and witnessed firsthand Hubert's style and legendary optimism. Mike Dougherty is praised as one of Pennsylvania's pioneers in biotechnology, dating back more than 30 years when the science and business were in their nascent stages. Mike was one of the founders of Pennsylvania Bio, now Life Sciences PA, and has been a quiet, steady hand supporting our community as it has grown into a world-leading life sciences region. In addition to Mike's significant credentials as a finance and business leader in the Pennsylvania life sciences community, he is widely recognized as a coach and mentor to countless current-day biotech leaders and emerging entrepreneurs. Also of note is Mike's personal commitment to Philadelphia charitable causes, including most recently as a founding board member of Life Science Cares Philadelphia, the industry-wide initiative to address the poverty epidemic in Philadelphia.
I am so very honored to receive an award that bears Hubert's name. Here was a man who shaped the future of medicine as long ago as the 1970s, when he would not take no for an answer, as he and other pioneers in the scientific community pursued the potential of monoclonal antibodies for the treatment of immune-mediated inflammatory diseases. I was incredibly fortunate to meet Hubert and work for Hubert a number of years ago now. Like he was for so many, Hubert was a real mentor to me, and I have been blessed also to work with and learn from other local biotech leaders, people like Bruce Peacock, Paul Toohey, Vin Milano, Nicole Vitullo, and others. More than anything though, my reflections turn toward this group, this Pennsylvania life sciences community. I count myself very lucky to have been a colleague of so many terrific people in the Philadelphia-based companies I've been associated with, from Centocor to McGainen, Genomics Collaborative, and ViraPharma. Of course, Adalor, and now as a board member at Idera, Trevena, and Marinus. I've learned so much from my colleagues at these companies, and I'm grateful for the shared spirit of common purpose, their perseverance and resiliency, and the commitment to patients and their families. And at this time in history, I know we are all so very grateful for the compassionate, dedicated, and really smart people in the medical community leading the fight against COVID-19. Dr. Gerard Kreiner at Temple University is one of those people. During the month of April 2020, according to Philadelphia Magazine, researchers in hospitals across Philadelphia launched as many as 30 clinical trials, all aimed at finding cures for COVID-19. Those involved in clinical research will recognize this is a highly unusual number of trials for one disease. But the coronavirus has created many unusual circumstances for us all. As of early May, researchers at Temple University Hospital were running 7 clinical trials to test the efficacy of investigational therapies for COVID-19. And Dr. Gerard Kreiner, the director of the Temple Lung Center, is the lead investigator for 4 of those trials. On an average day, Dr. Kreiner spends as many as 18 hours at the hospital. After doing regular rounds and caring for patients via telehealth, he chairs meetings to review study data and to coordinate with multidisciplinary care teams to determine which patients are best suited to participate in each trial. I am humbled to work in the same community and to be recognized with all the award winners in this program, particularly with the entire roster of heroes of COVID-19. I speak for many when I say Life Sciences PA has been an important resource during this pandemic. The organization has been supportive of regional and global efforts, has been at the forefront in the dissemination of business-critical updates, and has worked tirelessly to put the needs of the membership and our Pennsylvania community first.
When we announced the new date for the Life Sciences Pennsylvania 2020 Annual Awards Program, we hoped the move would allow us to host the event as originally planned, just on a different day. Unfortunately, gathering in person in June was not possible, so the team at Life Sciences Pennsylvania made the decision to bring this celebration and recognition to you as a studio-based program with remote viewership. Despite this change in format, we wanted to continue to celebrate the tremendous accomplishments of 2019, and this year, highlight efforts of the life sciences industry to address COVID-19. We sincerely hope we met our own high standards and your expectations. While we tried to keep many aspects of the 2020 Annual Awards Program intact, we understood very early we would not be able to serve dinner while sharing the program virtually. As a result, we invited organizations and individuals who purchased tables and seats for dinner to donate the proceeds from those purchases to the Philadelphia chapter of Life Science Cares. I'm pleased to announce the conversion of table and seat sales to a charitable donation resulted in a gift to Life Science Cares of $160,000. Working directly with the Life Science Cares leadership, we'll ensure this money is directed to partners working in Philadelphia to change the racial and social disparity that exists in our communities and businesses. Specifically, we'll be supporting established organizations who work to improve access to education and job training for those who are experiencing the realities of racial and socioeconomic barriers. On behalf of the Life Science Cares Fiduciary Board and the Life Sciences Pennsylvania Board of Directors, thank you to those who contributed to this effort we believe is tangible, measurable, and meaningful for those in need. Thank you also for your continued support of Life Sciences Pennsylvania and for the generous support of our program sponsors. We all hope to see you again in person soon.